Today, I'm going to show you the cheapest and most efficient way to go about building your 5x3 or 5x3+1 setup, even if you have a purple book. With the introduction of ancient accessories, we can now have a maximum of +6 of a certain engraving and +3 on the other one. So that makes it much easier for us to have 5x3 and even 5x3+1 setups. Cue Berserker. Now eventually I'm gonna go 5x3+1 on Mayhem because I'm gonna make Slayer on my main account and we're juicing her to the freaking moon. Full spec, burst as hell. I cannot wait. So I wanted to go ahead and see what it would look like to build this class anyways as a 5x3+1. I did get super lucky and I rolled a 7/7 stone, and I'm going to show you what that would look like if perhaps you did roll a 7/7, but also show you what it's like if you rolled a 7/6 as well. You want to start off with the class engraving. So what I did was I typed in 5 Mayhem, crit, and any accessories. The cool thing about Mayhem is that you will use a swift ring as well, so you can search the crit and the swift variants of this. So let's go ahead, hit Mayhem 5. Let's see if we can get any that match the other engravings that we need. I want to point this out as well real quick. If you can only find a relic, that's okay. If you can find an ancient that's 3/5, that's great too. But if you can only find a relic, it's just one piece, so it's not too big of a deal. Don't sweat it. Now, this is where we found my cursed doll. So I was just roaming through this, boom, found it. Let's go ahead, check for the swiftness variants of this. Okay, so here we go. We found a cursed doll variant as well here for 180 swiftness. That's pretty solid. We will take that for a ring for sure with the class engraving, because class engravings tend to be the most expensive, and if we can get this for 2.5 or 5K, that's pretty dang good. Under further inspection, I saw that it would work better with the crit variant of that Mayhem curse doll, so that's what I went ahead and used for this graph. So as you see, we filled in the 5/3 here with the crit, and what I would advise you do, as you've seen here, is if you have a class that you need multiple types of stats for, go ahead and fill it out here. That way you know which one you're getting, you know what to put in the auction house listing, and you're not gonna mess that up. So we have this engraving here. Now what's the next most important piece? The necklace, guys. So we know here by filling out this chart that we can go 5/3 on a neck piece, which is huge, because if we have an ancient accessory at 5/3, it's automatically going to be cheaper because it's not 6/3, which is the maximum amount of engraving points that I can have on it. So it's 5/3, it's going to be much cheaper, and guess what? We found one for 7K. This is with good stats as well. Now we can go ahead and fill in the rest of these three and make them fit so that we get a 5x3+1. And even here on this 5/3 earring, this is really when you can take advantage. It's going to be way cheaper and you can really get a higher quality accessory here, and it's good on the earring, so that way you can get a purple variant of it for pretty cheap, 4K. And if I can remember correctly, it was 92 or 93 qualities, which allows us to go a little bit more lax on these next two pieces, and again go back to that 60 to 75 range with the quality and still get good accessories but not break the bank. With this build in total, it's 37.5K gold. So if you had a 7/6 and you had to go 6/3, it's still not bad. We're looking at 65,500 gold. That's pretty freaking cheap. And with an ancient bracelet, 103 crit, 85 swiftness for 7K, we ended up having a 1548 crit. That's 55%. That means with red dust or chainsword, you're going to be looking at an 88% crit rate. That's really freaking good, guys. And the swiftness was 739, which is a 12.5% move speed in a raid scenario on a Mayhem Berserker. That's going to leave you at 39.5% move speed, which is basically maxing out raid captain's efficiency. So you're going to be getting probably something like 17.75. So this is a very viable build for 37,500 gold. Even in worst case scenario, 65.5, guys. And these stones were only 250 to roll. And for 5x3+1 setup, guys, don't tell me that you can't make a 5x3+1 setup for less than 300k gold. I don't want to hear it. If you're on NA servers, you can do it. And I want to give you another bonus tip here about not combining two engravings that directly synergize with each other. For example, Raid Captain and Swiftness. You never want to put Raid Captain and Swiftness together on an accessory if you can help it, because guess what? They directly go with each other. This 5/3 Grudge Raid Captain going from crit to swiftness for the same quality, literally quadruple 4 times the price. So you really got to do a good job at making sure that you don't combine 2 engravings that directly synergize with each other on a stat. And if you do that, you will save a lot of gold. Now, sometimes you just have to be patient, and that's okay. This is why buying these things in priority is important, because let's say, for example, you buy all of these accessories, and then the last thing you have to buy is this Mayhem Cursed Doll, but these negative stats don't line up. Let's say this one was an attack power 3 negative stat for this earring. Well, you've already bought everything and you're just waiting on this, but this is the only one that's available, and it's a really good price. You just kind of screwed yourself. These other 4 accessories are not going to be near as rare to find the right negative stat and the right engraving set on a certain accessory as this one is. So make sure to prioritize the class engraving first, then the neck piece, then fill in the rest as you need. With a purple book for the class, you can just outright buy a 6/0. As you can see, there's nothing else over here. Always check the combinations of these engravings. For example, Adrenaline Keen Blunt. You should try to avoid that because Keen Blunt goes hand in hand with crit rate. And of course, Adrenaline gives you crit rate. And we're looking at a price of about 54,000 gold for a 5x3 Surge setup with only 1 purple book. I'd say that's pretty freaking good, y'all. Now, before we move on to the proper 5x3+1 Surge build, I do want to say that the only way that you can build a 5x3+1 with a purple book still is by having a 9/7 stone. Even for this 5x3+1 setup, I was still able to get it for 80k gold plus the stone, which the stones are 1k per stone, or they were when I bought them at least. I don't think that they're there now anymore, but again, it's a 7/6 stone. This is doable, guys. This is very doable. 7/7 sometimes seems impossible. 7/6 is plenty to make this build viable. Now, all the qualities for these pieces were still that 60 to 75 range, and what I've noticed so far with ancient accessories is that once they start getting into the 80s and above, the price goes way up. I think that that will change over time as more accessories come out and more of the casual players are starting to get there and they're just like, no, I'm not going to pay that. So prices will gradually come down. So just continue waiting if you're really trying to get purple accessories or high blues. But the beauty about building a 5x3+1 here with 2 legendary books and a 6/7 stone is that we can have 2 3/5 pieces here. Okay, and we couldn't do this 3/5 piece if we didn't have 7 on this adrenaline. It would have to be 3/6, which is going to change the price of that necklace heavily. My most expensive piece on this build was the necklace. It was 40k, but this is just what's available right now. Eventually, this is still going to go down. This was an ancient piece, but it was around 80 quality. Now, just to give you my opinion real quick, my Deathblade is my alt. I run a 5x3 remaining energy build, but I am going to build a 5x3 Surge build because I really do enjoy Surge as well, but I'm not trying to spend all the gold in the world and I don't have a legendary book. So I'm definitely not going to buy the legendary book for Surge. It's going to cost about 100k, then try to go 5x3+1. That's another 80k. I feel like that's just a waste of gold for me. So I am going to be going the 5x3 setup with the purple book for around 50k, or maybe even less by the time I actually buy that. Now, those are the basics of building your own 5x3 or 5x3+1 setup with a purple book or 2 gold books. If you want this exact same spreadsheet, you can download it in the link below. All you need to do is click on the link and then make a copy for yourself, and then you can save it and edit it however you would like. And guys, if you have any questions on how to build your 4x3, 5x3, 5x3+1, I would love to help you any possible way that I can. So leave a like on this video if you learned anything, or if you're gonna download this template, and consider subscribing to the channel if you like Lost Ark and you're pumped about everything to come. I'm making Slayer next week. I can't believe she's actually here. Like, I've been waiting since launch. I'm so freaking hyped. But guys, I'm gonna see you on the next video, and I hope you have an absolutely fantastic day or night.